Here's your wrestling news for June 27th, 2022, and your headlines for today include Jon Moxley crowned the interim AEW World Champion after a violent battle at Forbidden Door, Katsuyori Shibata makes a surprise appearance at AEW x NJPW Forbidden Door, attacks top faction, former WWE superstar debuts and replaces Bryan to face Zack Sabre Jr. at AEW x NJPW Forbidden Door, several AEW and WWE stars react to Cesaro's debut at Forbidden Door, when did Tony Khan reach out to Claudio Castagnoli, fan thrown out of AEW x NJPW Forbidden Door for taking photos of CONTI from behind, security drags fans out of arena in wild scene during AEW x NJPW Forbidden Door, Jay White retains the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in odd finish at Forbidden Door, former WWE star possibly injured, top AEW stars throw shade at WWE after Forbidden Door victory, Thunder Rosa retains in hard-hitting showdown with Toni Storm, and more. We are kicking off today with AEW New Japan Forbidden Door, which saw the crowning of a new interim AEW World Champion. Moxley and Tanahashi met in a violent affair that saw the former busted wide open fairly early on, but that didn't stop either man from pushing the other to the limit. Moxley scored the Death Rider on the ace to end the match, sealing his second world title in AEW, and should he keep hold of the championship, an eventual unification bout with CM Punk. This match only happened because of Punk's injury, as prior to that, the AEW World Champion had planned to face Tanahashi at Forbidden Door one-on-one. The new champion had little time to celebrate, as he and his opponent were attacked by Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia. Fortunately, the heels were quickly ran off by other wrestlers, making for an explosive end to the historic pay-per-view. Moxley may not have had time to celebrate, but he is now once again on top of AEW's roster, and we'll have to see what lays in store for the new interim AEW World Champion. Forbidden Door also saw Will Ospreay retain the IWGP United States Heavyweight title against Orange Cassidy, but his work wasn't done there. Post-match, Ospreay, alongside the Aussie Open tag team, continued an assault on Cassidy and were able to dispatch of Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta. The beatdown only ended with the surprise appearance of Katsuyori Shibata, who earned a thunderous response from the fans in the United Center. Taking out Aussie Open's Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis, Shibata confronted Ospreay in the ring, hitting a corner dropkick and going in for a rear naked choke. Aussie Open saved their United Empire leader by pulling him out of the ring, while Shibata was gifted sunglasses and a thumbs up by the Grateful Cassidy. From Shibata's actions last night, it looks like New Japan will book a match between him and Ospreay for the IWGP United States Heavyweight title in the near future, but with the title belt still in Juice Robinson's possessions, perhaps a triple threat is in store. One of the most highly anticipated matches of the night was the bout between Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr., a match that underwent major changes. In the run-up to the show, it was confirmed that Danielson wouldn't be able to compete, and fans anticipated who would be his replacement debuting for AEW. As fans eagerly awaited the newcomer's arrival, Cesaro emerged under his former ring name Claudio Castagnoli to an immense reaction. The Swiss wrestler hit a running uppercut and gotch-style neutralizer within 10 seconds of the bell, and for the next 18 minutes, the two put on an incredible match. Claudio Castagnoli's arrival not only marks a new addition for AEW, but he is the latest to join the Blackpool Combat Club, who are currently feuding with the Jericho Appreciation Society. The two sides will face off this week in a blood and guts match, and with Danielson confirmed to be off the show, Claudio Castagnoli will be moving on to a massive match after his impressive debut. It wasn't just the fans who were excited to see Claudio in AEW, as several stars of the company reacted, as did some names from WWE. On Twitter, Xavier Woods tweeted an emphatic "Let's go," and while he didn't state what exactly he was excited about, the tweet matched up with the time of Castagnoli's debut. Former Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch took a more direct route, sharing a screenshot of Claudio's debut at Forbidden Door, a bold move for a WWE superstar to make. Claudio has had just one match in AEW, but he's off to an impressive start, and it remains to be seen if he can follow this up with this week's Blood and Guts match. It's safe to say that Castagnoli's arrival in AEW is being treated as a big deal, with his WWE name trending on Twitter after his debut. During the Forbidden Door post-show media scrum, Tony Khan discussed how he brought Claudio to AEW, saying he reached out before it was 100% confirmed that Bryan would be out. Khan said he had a pretty good idea that a lot of changes had to be made to the card, and said he reached out to the Swiss wrestler on June 2nd to guarantee his appearance. The AEW president said that if Bryan was able to wrestle, he would have saved Claudio for July 23rd's Death Before Dishonor event, the upcoming show from Khan's other promotion, ROH. Tony Khan clearly wanted the former Cesaro, no matter which promotion he was booked for, and now the AEW/ROH owner has one of the most gifted in-ring talents at his disposal. The United Center in Chicago, Illinois was packed for Forbidden Door, but one fan's time at the event was short-lived. The opening match of the night saw Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki take on Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino, and as expected, Ty Conti was at ringside to cheer on her fiancé. Conti took to Twitter after the match to praise AEW security for removing a weird fan who had got close to the barricade to take pictures of her from behind. The fan reportedly walked up several rows just to get behind shots of the young wrestler until security quickly stepped in. The match saw Guevara, Jericho, and Suzuki get the win to kick off the show in a major way, but Ty Conti had her own battle outside of the ring. Given that one fan was kicked out for taking things too far, you'd think that the rest of the crowd would be on their best behavior, but that wasn't the case. During the main event between Moxley and Tanahashi, two fans made a huge scene in the crowd, putting on a violent show of their own. Security quickly got involved, and the two men were dragged out of the arena, and while one guy tried to throw some more punches at the guards, the other couldn't because he was literally lifted off the ground. The two men didn't get to see Moxley's coronation as interim AEW World Champion, nor did they get to see what came after the match, as the show ended a bit early for these two troublemakers. More from Forbidden Door now as Jay White retained the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on the show, defeating three formidable opponents. The Switchblade retained against Kazuchika Okada, Adam Page, and Adam Cole, but the manner in which he retained has some fans confused. Instead of a big finish with his signature Blade Runner on Adam Cole, White simply pinned Cole without hitting him with the move, and several Twitter reactions have suggested that Cole might have been injured. Bryan Alvarez later tweeted that he doesn't have a lot of details, but that the former NXT champion is definitely injured. As White exited after the match, the Young Bucks and Kyle O'Reilly made their way out to the ring and had a brief exchange with Switchblade before checking in on Cole. Cole being injured yet again is the last thing the ex-WWE superstar needs, as he was recently pulled from a huge tag match due to an injury, and despite his talent in the role, Cole is getting quite a reputation in AEW nobody wants to have. Now, Forbidden Door may have been a crossover of AEW and New Japan talent, but that couldn't stop the All Elite promotion from taking shots at WWE. Even with another company there to work with, FTR's focus was on WWE, as they made reference to their former employer after the show. On Twitter, Dax Harwood said it's been 3 years since he was shaving Cash Wheeler's back, which did occur during one segment featuring the then Revival on WWE programming. Cash Wheeler was quick to interject, saying that actually he shaved Dax's back, an accolade we're not sure he should be proud of. The infamous shaving scene on the April 29, 2019 Raw is considered by many to be a low point for the tag team, and arguably what fueled their desire to leave WWE, marking the latest, most successful chapter in their careers. FTR had a huge night at Forbidden Door, emerging victorious in the winner-takes-all three-way match. The match saw FTR face the United Empire and Roppongi Vice, with the winners leaving the ROH World Tag Team Champions and IWGP Tag Team Champions. During the match, Harwood was led to the back by trainers after looking to injure his shoulder on an elbow drop, leaving Wheeler to fight on alone. Harwood did return in time to hit the big rig on Rocky Romero, adding the IWGP Tag Team titles to their collection. Now FTR hold those championships, the ROH World Tag Team titles, and the AAA World Tag Team titles, cementing themselves as one of the greatest teams in decades. And we're ending today with yet more from Forbidden Door, as Thunder Rosa put her AEW Women's World Championship on the line. The match wasn't an interpromotional bout, but saw Rosa face AEW's Toni Storm and retain against the New Zealand-Australian wrestler. While the first half was all Thunder Rosa, Storm got her second win later in the match. Rosa's win saw her pay tribute to her mentor Dustin Rhodes as she used his Final Reckoning finisher to win the match. Shaking hands after the bell, Thunder Rosa's reign shows no signs of ending anytime soon, as we can add Toni Storm's name to the list of opponents who have fallen to the AEW World Champion. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.